What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/fatlogic adventure, taking a look at a couple of intriguing fat acceptance posts, sharing my responses to them, and having a few laughs. This is episode 109 in the fatlogic series. And I've got some really fun posts lined up for this one. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I've been on my intuitive eating journey for about 2 years now. And I've just been diagnosed with diabetes. So now, how do I go about supporting my health, without subjecting myself to legalism, perfectionism, and diet culture again? As Galatians 5:1 says, "It was for freedom that Christ set us free. Therefore, keep standing firm, and do not be subject again to a yoke of slavery."
I have a similar situation, except with high blood pressure. Probably going on meds soon. I am having a difficult time not saying, I don't need medication, should be able to eat a certain way to control it. But, as I pray about it, I know in my heart that I need to listen to my doctor. By the way, this particular cardiologist has not mentioned diet or weight once. I have been very pleased about that. We just have to be still, and listen for God to help us through. I am hoping that the medicine/treatment will help us all feel better, and hopefully make our lives more joyful.
Wow, they're bringing Jesus into it. That's new. I suppose it should have occurred to me that there would be an overlap between fat acceptance and religion somewhere, given how most people subscribe to one religion or another. But damn if I wasn't unprepared for how wacky the overlap would prove to be. Ha. I'm not Christian, or religious at all actually. So if anyone is more knowledgeable about these things, feel free to correct me. But I kinda doubt that the point of Jesus's message is encouraging people to stuff themselves with food until they develop severe health problems, and then to keep stuffing themselves even after that point, so as not to subject themselves to the yoke of slavery. And I really don't know how comfortable I am with dieting being compared to slavery in the first place. Like, slavery is and has been utterly monstrous. It strips people of their most basic humanity, and subjects them to unimaginable cruelty on a daily basis. Putting basic calorie restriction in the same universe as something like that is not only completely delusional, it's extremely disrespectful, and I would hope that people would have the basic decency and common sense to refrain from making such hyperbolic comparisons. Outside of that, my main takeaway from this post is just how sad it is that these people have been duped by fat acceptance BS, to the point where it's legitimately starting to frick up their lives, yet they still haven't caught on to what a load of rubbish it is. Like, if I started doing so-called intuitive eating, and within 2 years I developed diabetes, I would be wondering what the hell happened. And I would probably be furious with whoever it was that led me down such a destructive path to begin with. But these people still think that eating whatever, and however much you want, is the right way to go. It's crazy. I can't really think of a positive note to end off on for this one, because people like this just seem way too hard to get through to. I guess all we can hope for is that God really is watching over them, and that He's, for whatever reason, sympathetic to the fat activist cause. Because otherwise this train seems unlikely to get back on the tracks anytime soon. Sighs. How sad.
Something I wish more non-fat folks knew is how frighteningly low the weight limit on most seating is. There's a not insignificant chance that your patio chairs, or the camp chair you brought to the bonfire, aren't actually safe for your fat friends. Seriously, just look it up.
This is also, really, frustrating, as a fat person, because typically, chairs with higher weight limits are, you guessed it, much more expensive.
Okay, so, my question to the first person in this post is, to what end do you wish to inform thin people of the weight limits of their outdoor seating? Is it just so that they will be aware, and so that they can do their best to accommodate you with what they have available to them? Because if that's what you're suggesting, I don't have a problem. Nobody is out to humiliate fat people, or have them damage their property. Just for fun, and it's better to inform the host of this possibility ahead of time than to just roll the dice and risk breaking the chair. But if you're suggesting that your thin friends should be obligated to replace their chairs with new, expensive, reinforced ones, on your behalf, then I do have to object. Because this is your problem to deal with, not theirs. If this means that you have to lug along some titanium-plated monstrosity of a chair whenever you go to a friend's house, then so be it. Sure, it might be embarrassing, but if your friends are cool, they'll probably understand, and either way, it's better to take a little embarrassment on the chin than to force your friends to take the financial hit just to spend time with you. Plus, if you really don't like this possibility, there's always the possibility of, losing some damn weight, so you don't have to worry about such things. Crazy idea, I know. To the second person in the post. Yeah, no shit, the chairs with the higher weight limits are more expensive. Did you expect them to be cheaper? If you're asking for a better or more specialized product, you're going to have to pay more for it. That's just life. I get that it must be frustrating for you. But once again, this is a problem that you have brought upon yourself. And it's a problem that is well within your power to resolve. So instead of complaining about how unfair everything is on social media, it might be worth taking action to lose a little weight, so that you don't have to worry about such inconveniences anymore. It'd be a real weight off your shoulders, I'm sure, not to mention a weight off your chairs, haha. So it's definitely worth considering.
Eat less, and move more, works for less than 2% of people long term, as in longer than 3 to 5 years. But hey, because the body and metabolism aren't fixed, it will irreparably damage and slow your metabolism, resulting in future weight gain for the majority of people. Thankfully, health and weight are not strongly correlated. If at all, I'm still healthy, not that it's a measure of morality, discipline, willpower, or you owe anyone health. But I'm lucky enough to have okay health, just not enough to be thin lol.
Nah, get out of here with that BS, man. Eat less and move more does not work for less than 2% of people. Give me a break. It works for everybody. But you have to actually do it. Not just say you're going to do it and keep your existing habits. Or do it for like a week. Then revert back to exactly how you were before. In other words, yeah, you do have to have a little discipline. And more than a little willpower. And if you fall short in either of these respects, and you fail to lose or keep weight off, that's a problem on your end. Plain and simple. And people do not put extra weight on because their attempts at weight loss just broke their metabolism. They put extra weight on because they allow their personal standards to slide even further in the aftermath of their failure, and console themselves with food, rather than redoubling their efforts as they should. I am not unsympathetic to the emotional struggles that can lead people to cope through overeating. And I am not interested in shaming fat people for their weight loss failures. But I don't see what's to be gained from obscuring the causes of these failures. Which, in case I haven't made myself clear enough, are behavioral, not genetic. And as for the claim that health and weight are not related, who do you think you're kidding, haha? Like anyone who's not completely drunk on the Haze Kool-Aid knows this is rubbish. And even some of the Haze acolytes probably know it deep down. They just don't have the courage to confront it. So why don't you quit wasting everyone's time playing this stupid game, and try being even the slightest bit realistic, so that we can all just get on with our day? I'd really appreciate it. Sorry, that probably wasn't my best response ever. And I'm sure I sound a little impatient. It's just that seeing the same tired points over and over again really starts to wear on a guy. Size. Anyway, moving on.
Mom, can you please stop calling my school lunch unhealthy? It makes me feel like I'm doing something bad every time I eat it. Thanks.
Isn't this nice? We've got a parent actually caring about their child's health and making sure that they develop a healthy diet to sustain it. You sure don't see that every day, do you? I don't know how old the poster here is, and if they're well into their teen years, I guess I can understand that they might find a parent's commentary of their food choices intrusive. At the same time, I think it's better to have parents who are too involved in their children's diets than parents who don't care at all, and will let them eat whatever, or, worse, will actively encourage them to indulge excessively in unhealthy foods. Because when we look at people who end up obese as adults, this kind of parenting during their childhood is all too common. And it's clear that there is a strong link between being raised with healthy diet habits and living healthily as an adult. To share a more personal experience, I can actually kinda relate to this poster, because when I was a kid, I remember that my mother used to be way more concerned with healthy eating than all of my friends' parents were. So when the other kids would show up to school with bags of chips and candy, and sugary cakes, and whatever else, I would always get fruit, sandwiches, and homemade wholemeal muffins. Needless to say, I felt cheated, and regularly complained to my parents, petitioning for more treat foods. When I look back now, though, I feel nothing but gratitude for the efforts my parents, and my mother in particular, went to, in order to make sure that I had healthy, nutritious foods in my lunchbox. Would I be desperately unhealthy today if I'd been allowed a few more treats here and there? Probably not, but the fact that my parents cared enough about me to provide such wholesome foods, in spite of my constant complaining, really speaks to how lucky I was to have such involved and responsible parents. I don't really have enough information about the poster or their parents to evaluate who is in the wrong. I just wanted to put it out there that, generally speaking, parents should not be afraid to exert some degree of authority over their children's diets. Because realistically, kids don't know what is good for them. If they got their way, it'd be nothing but cookies and ice cream. But that's not what's best for them. So yeah, if there are any parents listening, you're in charge. If you have to put your foot down, put your foot down. Your kids will probably thank you for it one day. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed these posts, and that you found my commentary entertaining or insightful. What do you think? Was Jesus an undercover fat activist? Should thin people be obligated to buy reinforced seating for when their fat friends come around to visit? Does eat less and move more really only work for 2% of people? What was in your school lunch as a child? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll pack your lunchbox full of donuts, candy, and fries, and make you eat every last bit of it, every single day, until you get so fat that even Jesus can't save you. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.